Hey, what's up? It's GW coming to you live. Hey, normally I don't, cut promos on weekdays, but I read something in the news today that was really, to me, really stupid. And I think you guys might want to hear about this. There's a Philadelphia pastor, okay? His name's Dan Rehill, Reverend Dan Rehill, okay? And he's a faculty advisor for the St. Edward Catholic School faculty. Okay, faculty member. And his whole deal, guys, is that, he wants to get rid of Harry Potter books from the school because he says that they actually contain spells and curses. And furthermore, this cat decided he's going to talk to real exorcists, okay? Which I didn't even know we had that still around, but okay. Homeboy wants to talk to some exorcists, let him do it. And the exorcist said, okay, this is real. Here's the problem with Dan Rehill's ideas. First of all, Harry Potter, beloved film franchise. I even myself have seen up to, I think, 5 of them. The books sold like hotcakes. I remember when that thing came out, that thing was huge. You couldn't even stop it. And I even got the last one in 3D, but I haven't watched it yet. But here's the problem. When's the last time that you went to school, okay, and instead of kids fighting on the playground, one of them pulls out a wand, turns the other into a frog? When have you seen this? When have you seen a levitation spell in real life? Now, I know that sounds crazy, but here's the thing. It's not going to happen. I know that probably somewhere, sometime in our past, way, in the medieval eras, there was probably sorcerers, and then the whole witchcraft thing started, and the next thing you got movies. Everybody's exploiting this. You know why? Because it doesn't exist to the level that Dan Rehill thinks it does. And I'm sorry, but that is not the face of somebody who disrespects Catholic Church by, throwing spells and stuff. This is pure fantasy. Millions of kids know that. It's the same thing. It's the same argument where you have, people go, oh, well, guns don't kill people, people kill people. And then you have the people to say guns kill people because they should, and the argument's never going to end. Because you're going to have people on both sides of the fence, guys. And the reason that I'm on this is that, in my life, I've seen countless things try to be banned. You look behind me, that picture of Artie Lang back there. That reminds me of when the FCC went after Howard Stern. He went to satellite radio. It got to be so crazy that he wasn't even allowed to say satellite radio. Now think about that. You have a nationally syndicated show, and you can't say the word satellite radio? It's crazy. So he had to call it I remember hearing about that. But anyway, this Dan Rehill cat, he goes on a little further, and he says that they glorify people trying to raise the dead. In other words, he's telling us that Harry Potter's a necromancer. I don't buy it. Voldemort was probably a necromancer, but not Harry Potter. I've never even heard of a necromancer. Necromancer, guys, is a guy that can raise the dead and control the dead. You see him on fantasy games, their characters and stuff. I mean, and this is like real life thing. This is not a joke. I mean, you guys can Google this up. This is ridiculous what this guy's going off about. It's the same way, people went off about the Tom Sawyer or the Huck Finn book, I'm sorry, because it had the N-word in it. Mark Twain wrote it, had the N-word all through it. Last time I checked, in 1800s or whatever that book was written, that's how they talked. I wasn't there, but by all historical accounts, I would say there are people like that. Birth of a Nation. You guys haven't seen that yet? That is one of the most offensive pieces of film if you're a minority because it puts us, in the driver's seat and we're the superior ones. That film has been around since 1800, whatever. I don't see anybody banning that. You know what I mean? Because it's not going to get Dan Riho anywhere because the stuff doesn't exist to the level that he says it is. And the Catholic Church is smart because they say, we're not going to get into what's being banned and what's not. And that's a smart move for them. But here's my problem. If you start running around trying to pick fantasy things out of real life things, maybe, you should go outside and play baseball. Forget about it. Then what's next, Dan Rehill? Dan Rehill probably going to come on and say, oh, don't watch The Walking Dead because your kid's going to turn into zombies. Wouldn't that be something? That'd be something, wouldn't it? But I just think the whole thing is stupid. And, kids, like I said, kids don't practice witchcraft. They read Harry Potter because they identify with him. Harry Potter, in the first book, if you go back to that very first book, Harry Potter was a shy kid, got bullied around, and finally became something of his life. That's what kids are going to pick out if they're smart. They're not going to pick out, oh, well, page 6, guys, has a spell to turn somebody into a toad. They're not going to pick that out. I've read the books. I never saw the curses in there. I read about how they used them in the descriptions. But guys, I never saw an actual spell. Like Eye and Newt, and all that stuff you see in the movies. Rabbit ears and, all that stuff. Blades of grass. However they mix it up in a pot. I don't know. It's another case of people, trying to pick at something because they're bored. That's all I can figure. If my dad told me, hey, watching movies is going to make your mind jelly, I would have done it. I wouldn't care. I still do it. Now, granted, there's movies that my parents don't want me to watch, and I'm sure your parents have too. But it all comes down to knowing what's real and what's fake. And clearly, J.K. Rowling did not have that in mind. She didn't paint Harry Potter as a necromancer. She didn't put actual spells in the book so kids could turn each other into, frogs or whatever and make them disappear. She didn't do that. She wrote a good, structured fantasy saga. Okay? That's all it is. And it makes me crazy when people point the finger at things that are so crazy. And Fox News did a story on this. That's how I know. It's on your news feed. If you guys go into Google, check it out. Now, Dan Rehill's assistant said that they are pulling the books from the school library. But they said, and this is the part that got me. They said that they are not going to stop letting kids bring the books because their parents use discretion. Well, the parents know better. The parents know that they're just books. They're fantasy. They're kid stories. What's next, Dan Rehill? You gonna tell me that if you watch Star Wars, you're gonna be wanting to get a lightsaber and chopping people apart with it? I don't buy it. And if you're wondering why this has to do with my channel, whatever, if you've been listening to me for about, 9.5 minutes now? It's because I like Harry Potter. I see why some people who are not familiar with the franchise or the books would get crazy. But granted, I watched the first one. My buddy Philip Ashbaugh, he said, hey, Greg, check it out. Now, I know it was a kid's movie. I don't do no more kids' movies. You know what I mean? I do like Lethal Weapon, horror movies, you guys see. But I watched it and I thought it was pretty cool. For an adult, it was enjoyable. I liked it. So I watched the second one. I got Chamber of Secrets. I got, like I said, 4 or 5 of them. Because it was a good story. And it was told good. Had good actors in it. And the special effects were on point. It's just a kid's story, man. It's just fantasy. People need to get out the house more. That's all. But I don't know what Dan Hill's deal is about the whole books. I don't know. Maybe we're just going to let them go. Maybe that's the best thing you do. You just let these guys go till they wear down, and then it becomes an old hat, the subject. And they say, what about Harry Potter? Oh, they talked about that a long time ago. Just like I can remember a little while ago, years ago, they say we're going to take smoking out of the movies because that makes kids smoke. No. Kids smoke because they want to. Not because De Niro lit up a cigarette in a set of casino. You know what I mean? You gotta look at it like the kids are in charge. Kids aren't gonna go throwing spells on each other. The world ain't gonna stop because you pull Harry Potter books off the shelf. People are gonna be mad, yeah, but they're gonna bring their own stuff. That's what I found out. Anyway, I didn't mean to get on a rant about all this, but I just think the whole thing's stupid. And I know my opinion in the long run doesn't matter, but having seen a bunch of these controversies, up front, the whole thing is ridiculous, And I say every Harry Potter fan should stand up this weekend and marathon all the movies. Just to say, hey, we enjoy our entertainment, we enjoy our fantasy. That's what I should say. That's what y'all should do, rather. Don't listen to me, but if you want to, go ahead. Have some popcorn and whatever. Have fun. But you got to keep a lookout for these guys, man. These guys come around every so often. It was probably something in Dan Hill's house. Maybe his kid had Harry Potter. He didn't like it. Now he's going to attack the whole Harry Potter saga, try to take it down one by one. I don't know. And I don't know what goes on in Dan Hill's house. And I'm not even saying he's a bad guy. Maybe I don't understand him the way I should. But all I'm saying is that, to me, looking out from the outside, looking in on this controversy, the whole thing is stupid. And I never seen anybody cast no spells on each other. Last I heard, people just fight it out on the playground, and then that was it. You ain't never heard in your life, about people throwing spells on each other, people hexing each other. That played out. You don't do that. Anyway, that's my take on the whole thing. And like I said, y'all can look it up if you want to. Sorry I didn't give you a review. But I'm gonna knock something out of the park for you, And I appreciate everybody still watching my show, because y'all guys are the reason I do this. Other than that, Dark Souls going okay. We just killed a wyvern. It was pretty awesome. So we're going to continue. But I'll be dropping more reviews. And I did see the new It movie coming out. By the way, you guys should go check that out. If you've seen the first one, the second one looks pretty cool. And I want to talk real quick about something, movie-wise, because we're off Dan Hill for right now. I did see a trailer for John Travolta's new movie called The Fanatic. If you guys haven't seen this, it looks creepy, and it looks actually like a very good, well-thought-out thriller movie. John Travolta plays a fan of an actor who just wants an autograph. Well, apparently when you watch the trailer, he does not get the autograph. And then things you could see in the trailer start spiraling downward for him. And if you guys ever watched any movie like that, one movie I could recommend for you would be called The Fan. It stars Robert De Niro and Wesley Snipes. Very good movie. And it almost takes the same premise. Only De Niro is not an actor. He's a salesman, and he's a stalker. Wesley Snipes plays a baseball superstar, and it is pretty cool. De Niro sort of stalks him all over the place, and it gets to, pretty violent levels. So if you guys were looking for a good thriller, check that one out. Also, 3 from Hell. I did forget to mention that there is a new clip about Baby, and she's in jail, and it actually shows, her being in jail, and then Otis talking about the escape. It's pretty cool. That's a movie I can't wait to see. My wife has been driven nuts by this movie, by the way, guys, and it's not even out. But yeah, definitely check out the trailer for The Fanatic, and it looks pretty interesting. I don't think they released a time frame for it, but look for it. I'm thinking it's probably going to be fall when it comes out. Also on Shudder, you guys can check out Creepshow. I believe that premieres the 26th. It's going to be a 6 or 7 part anthology series based on Stephen King and George Romero. You guys should check it out if you got Shudder on streaming service. It looks pretty cool, and it looks like Adrienne Barbeau is back in one of the tales, so it should be pretty interesting. And the only other movie news I got is that if you guys did miss it and you saw the new Halloween movie that came out earlier last year, there are going to be 2 sequels, one of which is called Halloween Kills. It is now getting a scriptwriter, so you guys should check that out. Also, I did see there was a new Leprechaun movie released, but Warwick Davis is not going to be in it. However, whoever they picked for this, they said actually fills Warwick's shoes pretty good. Warwick Davis, by the way, for you guys who don't know, is that short little dude, played Wicket in Return of the Jedi. So you guys check that out. He was in the original 5 or 6 Leprechauns, I can't remember. So check that out. Maybe I'll pick that movie up and I'll review that one. Looks like a cheesy, good, violent, no-brain movie to watch, just like Critters Attack. Well, that's all I got, guys. So, be back for you with more later. GW. And I hope you guys had a happy Labor Day. See ya.